So he needs somebody to give him specifics on what they did wrong. He needs specifics. And only then will he apologize. I got you, Prince Harry. I got your back. Or here's just a couple off the top of my head, all right? Your wife's a bully. Her former press communications person who worked for both you and your brother, Jason Knopf, is on the record about the bullying she committed against people who were younger than she was, who were less powerful than she was within the palace, who she made cry all the time. One of the other people that she apparently made cry was Princess Kate. She told Oprah that Kate made her cry, but now we know from your own book, Harry, that it was Meghan calling Kate a baby brain. It's your baby brain after she gave birth to her third child to explain Kate's complaints about Meghan's wedding plans. All right? That's not polite. That is rude, as Prince William later told you in referring to your wife. That has a tendency to make people not like you when you have the nerve to comment on their hormones after they just had a baby when you barely know them. Number 2, she's a brat. We know from Dan Wootton's reporting, which is, you can take it to the bank. Dan's reporting, he's got very solid sources. He broke Megxit and he was right, that she was upset about her tiara. She wanted the one and she couldn't get it because it had some stone that was controversial, etc. And Harry said what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, and the Queen had to reprimand him. That's the kind of story that makes people dislike you within the royal family and without. Your wife abandoned her entire family. That's another thing, in favor of celebrities at her wedding. She cut ties with virtually everybody whose shoulders she had stood on her way up the fame scale, just as soon as she met you. Well, that seems a little rude too, kind of disloyal. Also annoying. And then what was George Clooney doing at your wedding? You didn't know him. She didn't know him. That's who she had there instead of the sweet cousin or stepsister, whatever it was, who she had supposedly grown so close to. You said that in your Netflix documentary. She forgot that girl. She ghosted her because apparently she didn't make the grade. Never mind her step-siblings and so on. Half-siblings. Your fights with the press. You two look like a couple of whiny babies, and it's been going on for years. How many lawsuits have you filed against the Mail and so on? Forget the lawsuits, though. It's your whiny statements about the nasty press. Every single celebrity deals with it. You don't think George Clooney's had negative things written about him? Tom Cruise had negative things written about him? He doesn't use his speeches or his media appearances to whine about the mean media. They say the things that aren't true. We're sick of it. Shut up about your negative.
Megyn Kelly, the woman who wakes up every morning, looks at her schedule, and sees Bash Meghan Markle slotted in right between her second cup of coffee and finding new ways to defend the indefensible. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here because, shock of all shocks, Kelly is mad again at the Sussexes. It's almost like she has a permanent residency in their business, rent-free, of course. Kelly questions her every move. From her marriage to Prince Harry to her experiences with the royal family, nothing seems off limits. This constant barrage of negativity raises a serious question. Is Megyn Kelly's criticism valid, or is it something else entirely? Megyn Kelly often accuses Meghan and Harry of playing the victim. She frequently voices her opinion on various platforms, suggesting that the couple's public statements and actions are calculated moves to gain sympathy. She suggests they revel in their perceived suffering, almost as if they find joy in the attention their struggles bring. Kelly implies they use their hardships to garner sympathy and attention, painting a picture of them as manipulative rather than genuinely distressed. This narrative, however, is a gross oversimplification. It fails to consider the complexities of their situation and the genuine pain they have experienced. It ignores the very real pain inflicted upon them by relentless media scrutiny and public judgment. Imagine being thrust into the global spotlight, where every aspect of your life is under constant surveillance. You are constantly scrutinized with no respite. Your every move is analyzed and criticized, often unfairly and without context. The press hounds you relentlessly. They fabricate stories, twist narratives, and spread lies to sell papers and generate clicks. Now, imagine facing this onslaught while pregnant, a time when you are most vulnerable and in need of peace. Then, as a new mother, trying to protect your child from the same invasive scrutiny. This was Meghan's reality, a constant battle against an unyielding media. To dismiss her experiences as simply playing the victim is not only insensitive but also inaccurate. It overlooks the genuine emotional and psychological toll such relentless scrutiny can take. It minimizes the trauma she endured and invalidates her feelings, reducing her complex experiences to a mere narrative of victimhood. This type of dismissive rhetoric is dangerous. It perpetuates a culture where victims are silenced and their experiences are trivialized. It perpetuates a culture where victims are silenced, their voices drowned out by skepticism and doubt. Furthermore, Kelly's argument ignores the power dynamics at play. Meghan, as a newcomer to the royal family, was in a vulnerable position, navigating a complex and often hostile environment. Meghan, as a newcomer to the royal family, was in a vulnerable position. She was up against centuries of tradition and a powerful institution that was not always welcoming. She was up against centuries of tradition and a powerful institution. The royal family operates under a strict set of rules and expectations, making it difficult for an outsider to find their footing. To suggest that she had equal footing in this situation is ludicrous. It disregards the significant challenges she faced and the courage it took to speak out against such a formidable establishment. One of the most telling aspects of this entire saga is the deafening silence from the royal family. Despite the constant barrage of negative press and public scrutiny that Meghan Markle faced, the institution chose to remain silent. While Meghan endured relentless attacks from the British media, the institution remained largely silent. This inaction speaks volumes. It wasn't just a lack of words, it was a lack of support, a lack of defence. It reveals a disturbing truth about the monarchy's priorities. Their silence suggests that maintaining their image and avoiding controversy was more important than standing up for one of their own. The royal family has a long history of protecting its own. They have weathered many storms by closing ranks and presenting a united front. They have a PR machine, they control the narrative, they have the power to influence public opinion and media coverage. Yet, when it came to Meghan, they remained strangely passive. This passivity was not just a failure to act, it was a choice. This silence can be interpreted as tacit approval of the abuse she faced. It was as if their silence was a nod of agreement to the relentless criticism and negative portrayal of Meghan. It sent a clear message. Meghan was on her own. She was left to fend for herself in a hostile environment. Meghan was on her own. This isolation was palpable and undoubtedly took a toll on her mental and emotional well-being. This lack of support undoubtedly contributed to Meghan's decision to step back from royal duties. It was a decision born out of necessity, a need to protect herself and her family. It would be difficult for anyone to thrive in such a toxic environment. The constant scrutiny, the lack of support, and the relentless attacks would wear down even the strongest individuals. The royal family's inaction was not only hurtful to Meghan, but also damaging to their own reputation. Their silence spoke louder than any words could. Kelly's criticisms rarely touch upon the royal family's role in this saga. This omission is telling. It highlights a selective narrative that focuses on Meghan while ignoring the broader context. It suggests that she is more interested in attacking Meghan than in examining the full picture. This selective criticism undermines the credibility of her arguments. This one-sided approach undermines the credibility of her arguments. It reveals a bias that skews the narrative and fails to address the complexities of the situation. Section 4. Bullying allegations, where's the proof? Megyn Kelly, along with other critics, has accused Meghan Markle of bullying staff during her time in the royal family. These allegations have sparked widespread debate and controversy. These accusations, however, remain unsubstantiated. Despite the serious nature of these claims, no concrete evidence has been presented to back them up. There is no concrete evidence to support these claims. The lack of tangible proof raises questions about the validity of the accusations. The accusations first surfaced in the British media, known for its sensationalism and often malicious gossip. The tabloids have a history of publishing unverified stories to attract readers. These stories relied heavily on anonymous sources. The use of unnamed individuals makes it difficult to verify the authenticity of the claims. They provided no concrete proof. Without solid evidence, these allegations remain mere hearsay. Despite this lack of evidence, Kelly and others have latched onto these accusations. They continue to repeat these claims, giving them an air of legitimacy. They use them to further their narrative of Meghan as a demanding and difficult diva. This portrayal has been widely circulated in the media. This rush to judgment is unfair and irresponsible. It undermines the principles of justice and fairness. It's crucial to remember that everyone deserves due process. Accusations should be thoroughly investigated before conclusions are drawn. Accusations without evidence should be treated with skepticism, not amplified. The media has a responsibility to report facts, not rumors. By repeating these unsubstantiated claims, Kelly contributes to the spread of misinformation. This can have serious consequences for the individuals involved. It's also worth noting that these accusations emerged shortly after Meghan and Harry's explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey. This timing is suspect. The interview brought significant attention to the couple's struggles and criticisms of the royal family. It raises questions about the motivations behind the accusations. Were they a reaction to the couple's revelations in the interview? Were they a calculated attempt to discredit Meghan and control the narrative? The timing and nature of these allegations suggest a possible strategic move to undermine her credibility. Section 5. Triumph over adversity. Meghan and Harry's success story. Despite the constant barrage of criticism and negativity, Meghan and Harry have not only survived, but thrived. They have built a successful life for themselves outside the confines of the royal family. They are raising their children on their own terms. They are pursuing their passions. Meghan has become a successful author. She has launched her own podcast. She is a vocal advocate for causes she believes in. Harry, too, has found his voice. He is championing mental health awareness. He is working to support veterans. Their story is one of resilience and determination. They refuse to be defined by the negativity thrown their way. They chose to forge their own path. They are proving that it's possible to overcome adversity and emerge stronger on the other side. Kelly's criticisms often ignore these successes. She focuses solely on the negative, painting a skewed picture of their lives. This selective reporting demonstrates a clear bias. It undermines her credibility as an objective commentator.